Okay, today's lesson is lesson 2-4, multiplying integers. This lesson is actually together multiplying and dividing, but I am separating it into one part multiplying and the next part dividing. So to concentrate first on multiplying integers. It's not, I put integers here, and it's really not integers. It's not integers, it is rational numbers. I goofed that up. When multiplying rational numbers, you're going to follow the rules of integers like you did before. So if it before, and just like now, same thing, when you multiply, it is going to be a positive times a positive, the answer is positive, negative times a negative, the answer is positive. So if the signs are the same, it's positive, and if the signs are different, it's negative. Okay? So positive and a positive, make a positive, negative and a negative, make a positive. But if it's a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, the answer is going to be negative. Okay? Okay. So now you also have to also apply your rules of fractions. And because your signs really don't matter all that much, you can look at your rules of fractions first, do all of the fraction work, and then go back and apply your sign. Okay? So what that means is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make all numbers fractions. Okay? So whole numbers and mixed numbers need to be fractions. Okay? Whole numbers and mixed numbers need to be fractions. That's what you have to do first. Okay? So, and then the second step, I'm just going to write it over here. The second step then, when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply numerator times numerator over denominator times denominator. If you know how to cross simplify, you can do that. If you struggle with that, if you haven't grasped that, then skip it and just multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator, and then simplify. So the third step then, I don't know what I just did. I think I went to the next page. The third step then is to multiply and then simplify. Okay? And then your fourth step is to apply your sign. Those are your 4 steps of multiplying rational numbers or fractions. Okay, so if you look at this first example is actually a decimal, and there are going to be some decimals in here. So when you're doing a decimal, again, I do not want to see this. That's calculations. You did that in 5th grade. You can use a calculator. So just plunk it in a calculator. Know if the signs are the same, the answer is positive. If the signs are different, the answer is negative. Okay? Okay. So if you look at this next problem, this next problem has rational numbers that have fractions in it. So let's do a problem like that. Actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to skip down here, and we are going to do number 1 together. So let's do number 1 together. So it's a negative 6/5. So, nope, we're not, because that's dividing. Let's do number, gosh, are there no fraction ones? Here we go. Let's do number 5. Negative 2/3 times 7 7/8 times 3/2. Okay? So the first thing you have to do is make all fractions. So you have a negative 2/3 times, that's a 3, negative 2/3 times, and then you have to take 7 7/8 and multiply that. So you have 8 times 7 and then plus 7. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 7 is, let's see, 56, 63. So it'd be 63 over 8. And then, I hope I'm not making a mistake there, and then 3 over 2. Okay? And because your signs are, you're dealing with integers, you really need to make sure that you do this first, get an answer, and then do the last number. Or you could commute your order, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do a negative 2/3 times 3 over 2, and you'll see why I'm doing that in just a second. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 over 6 is 1, so it's a negative 1. Now I have 63 over 8 times a negative 1. Any number times 1 is that number, so you don't even need to simplify. You end up with 7 and 7/8. And because it's a negative times a positive, your answer is going to be negative. Okay? So you can commute your order if you could see, like this problem, where it works out pretty well. You are able to do that, but just do 2 numbers at a time. You can't really do 3 because you'll get messed up. When you're using a calculator, the calculator knows what to do, but when you're not, it can be challenging. Okay? All right. Then, let's see. Then you have a problem here that's just that's a real world problem. So they have here an account position. It just says that your stocks are A, B, and C. What is the mean change in stocks? So again, mean is you add them up and divide by the number that you have. So here, if you look, you can see they added up all of the numbers in that column, and then they're going to divide by 3 because there's 3 numbers. And then they're going to end up with an answer of a negative 333.63 over 3, and then when you simplify, it's negative 111.21. Okay. So, I'm going to pause the video here, and then we'll come back and we'll do division next.